It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. Know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out, episode 402. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Hi.
Hello.
You know what we should do in 2 episodes?
Uh-huh.
It should just be an hour of
Silence.
Of silence.
This episode did not load because it's 404.
It's a 404 error.
I'm sure that would be great listening.
And we'll see if anybody notices.
Yeah, I think a couple people might notice. Just a couple, though.
Just a few.
Yeah.
So before we dig in, I feel like we should give people an update on the GoFundMe that we've been doing for Helper B Tina, because it's really positive news.
It is really
for the
positive
GoFundMe.
news. Actually, I just checked it before we came down here, and we have topped 12,500.
Nice.
Yeah. So I really appreciate that people have been sharing this. And, our goal is just to raise as much money as we can to help out. This is going to be, it sounds like a 2.5-year treatment program for Mason. The last couple weeks, last week and then this week, he has been going to get his treatment. So like he's there today getting his treatment. Last week, his platelets were a little on the low side, but not so low they couldn't do treatment, but they had to do a blood draw this Monday just to make sure that he was in a good range for them to be able to do treatment on Wednesday. But I have been keeping up with Tina to find out how things are, and they have started a new tradition of daily watching an episode or 2 of Modern Family to keep spirits high.
That's
and
like
I
12,
love that.
Like 12 seasons.
That's the goal. That's just to keep things, you know, normal and funny and silly. And I love that for them. I really do. And then, so next week will be week 4. So that'll end the first 30 days of treatment. And then they go into a new phase. And Tina is a planner like me. So it's a little like they don't know what that looks like at all.
Right.
They know it's going to be 60 days, but they don't know what that consists of. So that's driving her a little crazy. It would be driving me a lot crazy.
Yeah.
So I get that. But they're holding up incredibly well. And I think, we talked about a couple weeks ago, but I just want to say again, part of the reason we're raising this money is because the hospital they are going to is a couple hours away from them, and it is out of network. So anything that insurance doesn't cover in network,
be a lot.
Yeah, it's going to get expensive, and they have to travel 2 hours just to get him treatment every week. So like it's going to incur a lot.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of expense. So that's why we are raising money for Tina and her family, and we all just want to rally around Mason and send him lots of good vibes.
So thank you to everyone who has donated.
Yes, thank you all so much. It's very, very helpful. And Tina has expressed so much gratitude, and she can really feel the love from the community, and she really appreciates it.
So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
We have a really fun interview with Troy Taylor today. We are going to be discussing all things Tonal 2.
Yes.
And it's really fun. Like, Troy is just a great guy to talk to. So it's just a really fun interview.
For sure.
And then we also are going to be talking about all these class cancellations that Peloton has been putting out this week. We've got a few updates on technical issues. We are also going to talk about the newest kind of class that you can book online to do live. We also have a new listing for Peloton has partnered with a new race. So we're going to talk about that. We also are going to be talking about a few updates for instructors. We have Rebecca Kennedy, an update on her recent injury. We've got talking about Denis Morton and what kind of class he just recorded. We've got an update on Mariana Fernandez, who's on the mend. And then Bradley Rose had a crazy health scare. We're going to talk about that. Not to mention, we will cover the newest artist series, and we will cover a new celebrity sighting, as well as all of the fun content coming up in the next month.
And I should say, as part of shameless plugs, over on the Patreon, we will be talking about kettlebell tips.
Yeah, kettlebell. I don't even know what that would be.
That means you didn't hold it right. Whoops. For the boys, anyway.
Well, it wouldn't feel real good for the girls either.
And then we will also be talking about where Peloton's latest pop-up store will be. Also, Daniel McKenna chimed in on the Instagram with taking a stroll down meth memory lane.
Yeah. Good times.
So we will explain all about that over on the Patreon, which is available at patreon.com/theclipout. It's $5 a month. You get all sorts of bonus content, and you get ad-free episodes. And then, of course, we like you extra.
Yeah.
And if we get them early, you get them early. So we've had a couple of people sign up in the last few weeks. So thank you. Hello.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yes. Yeah. So also, I did shameless plugs out of order, so now I'm all...
Well, we got a newsletter. We've got a website.
Well, you don't even need me.
I'm just
going to go back upstairs and watch TV. Take a nap.
I think you've done enough napping today.
Oh, I haven't done any napping today.
I mean, you've done enough napping this week that it counts for today.
I haven't actually napped. So I've been working from home because they had to get above my office because of the pipe burst that we talked about. So I've been working from home all week.
Yeah.
I've not napped one day.
All right.
This week.
Well, I don't ever nap, so...
Neither do I.
Oh,
I've turned over a new leaf.
Okay.
So anyway, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us. Maybe leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group, sign up for our newsletter over at theclipout.com, where I will send you weekly, mostly ish, a newsletter with just the links and stuff to all the things we talk about. So if you want to read more about it, it's just boom right there for you. Then of course the Patreon that we just plugged. So anyway, there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
So we have had multiple and mysterious cancellations. Not all of them are mysterious, but some of them.
Yeah, I mean, then some.
A little bit.
Well.
And some of them are mysterious because we're like, what'd you schedule it for in the first place?
But yeah, a little bit. I mean, I kind of see it because today's like the 5th for the Power Zone one. So like Matt Wilpers had a class that was canceled, and that was canceled. It's canceled for the 8th. But he was just in Tokyo.
Right.
So I don't know if that means that, hey, we're canceling this because Matt is going to be taking a little bit more of a break after his recent marathon.
Between the marathon and the jet lag.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's that. Maybe it's something completely different. Maybe he got an amazing offer. So it's a little mysterious because we don't really know. But it was class. And so on 3/8, there was a Power Zone class that was scheduled at 8 a.m. and that has been canceled.
So then there was also a Queens of Pop full body strength with Rebecca Kennedy that was supposed to be on March 2nd, that got canceled.
Yes. And I don't know where you have this in the list of things. So I just want to make sure that I don't mess you up.
Well, we'll address, but she had an injury.
She had an injury.
And we'll talk about that later in the episode under
That's what I wasn't sure.
in the news.
Okay.
But so that one's not mysterious.
It's not mysterious.
Yeah.
But it was at the time when it first popped up.
Oh, gotcha.
We were all like, what is happening?
Right.
Yeah. But then it was like, oh, because she posted.
And then we have a Hidden Hills ride.
It's hidden.
It's hidden. They literally hit it.
They did. They hit it.
It wasn't canceled. It was hidden.
It was supposed to take place on March 7th, and that has been canceled. So it was with Olivia Amato. Now, what's interesting about this is that on the 7th and 8th, with both of those classes being canceled back to back, and they're 2 separate days, you can't help but wonder, is like something going on in the studio that they had to cancel that? Because with it being back to back, 2 different instructors, there's really nothing about that that's obvious.
Right.
So that's part of the mysteriousness that
Very
we don't
mysterious.
know. Yeah,
Yes.
very mysterious. Benny also, we don't have an image for this one if you guys are watching, but Benny also had to cancel this weekend because he had to have surgery. So he announced over the weekend that he had to cancel one of his classes. He thought he would be ready in time, and he was not.
Gotcha.
So poor guy. Hope he's okay.
So we have the This Week in Peloton feature. Now we have a This Week in Tech Issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's just become something I have to check every week. So on March 4th, some members have started reporting they are having issues accessing their schedule, and Peloton has listed that as currently investigating. So that's what it was listed as of today. They don't have a fix. They don't have what happened. It's just Nothing identified.
We're aware.
We're aware. Yeah. And they're investigating. And then we had talked about the Apple TV requesting to log in after the app update.
They just can't get this one.
Well, it did say that it was going to be rolling out this week. So they have a fix. It's been released and they expected it to be rolling out to members over the next week. So by the time you hear this, in theory, that should be fixed.
Gotcha.
You can also go to the Apple Store and update the app to 15.100, and that should immediately resolve the issue for people. So those are the two things that are kind of hanging out there. There's also the challenge and profile dashboard discrepancies. And so what Peloton has said way back on the 14th, that they had identified it, the root cause, and they were going to implement a fix and backfill it. But it's still listed. It's not done. So just leaving that out there as well.
There is a new class type that people can now book.
Yeah. First time.
Yes.
Low impact cardio.
I was saving the glory for you to announce the type of class.
It's interesting. Well, number one, it's Rebecca Kennedy. So big question mark. Will she be back in time? So that's the question.
Gotcha. I guess it is low impact.
It is. But it's, we'll get into the injury later.
Hey, you know my philosophy. All cardio is low impact if you're lazy enough.
People love the low impact cardio. You know, it's very like 80s, 90s driven, you know, like you got the step aerobics going on. People love it.
Get your leg warmers on.
But this is the first time you've ever been able to book this in person. And so we thought that was worth noting because people are really excited about this one. So if you're looking, I'm sure it is going to continue to stay full. But at the moment, it's still up on the booking site. And if you keep going back to check, maybe you'll get lucky and get in on a wait list, but it's going to be on March 13th.
Peloton has partnered with Generali Berlin Half Marathon. Now, I don't speak German, but Generali sounds like it would be Spanish.
I could see that.
It sounds like it's federally.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And apparently, Peloton has partnered with them before. And I kind of vaguely remember that. But to be honest, some of these things start to kind of, you know, all roll together.
Run
after
together.
A while. Ha, 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 ha. But on April 6th.
This is why we get 1-star reviews about me. Right there.
Right there.
He thinks he's so funny. Like, no, I know it's not funny.
That was the whole point.
That's what makes it funny.
But this race will take place on April 6th. And like you said, it's a half marathon. Eric Yeager's going to be there.
Heard of him.
Jeffrey McEachern and Susie Chan will all be there as well. And there's going to be events happening at the expo and on race day. So probably a good opportunity to meet all those instructors if you haven't yet. That would be a good place to do that.
If you happen to be in Berlin.
Well, I mean, we do have listeners that are in Berlin. Like, that's a thing. Germany is small enough that even if you're not in Berlin today, you could be in Berlin if you wanted to.
It's like, because I'm American, so I always forget that people in other countries speak multiple languages.
Yeah, we're the ones
we
that
don't do that.
Yeah. Like, you go to almost any other country, they speak English.
Yeah.
A lot of people speak English. I'm not. Let's just drop it before I start saying things that I get yelled at.
We are guilty of it too.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
And coming up after this, we're going to have instructors in the news. We're going to talk to you about what's up with Rebecca Kennedy and Denis Morton re-recording a class. So stick around.
Instructors in the news.
So Rebecca Kennedy is out with an unspecified injury.
She is, yeah. She took to the gram. She went live the other day, and she let everybody know that, well, actually, I don't think she was live. I think it was a story, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She said that she was hoping that rest and PT exercises that she had been doing were going to be enough to get her back into the studio, and she found that they were not.
Oh.
And so she's going to do what the doctor tells her, and she said it's the same advice that she would give any of us, which is to go to the doctor, listen to the doctor, take your time, and get healthy. And that's what she's going to do, which is what she should do, which is why I say I don't know if she will be back in time for the 13th. We all hope that she will. That is going to be a Sabrina Carpenter low impact cardio. And I really hope it is, because like Rebecca is the one that brought low impact cardio to Peloton.
Yeah.
And so I would really, I really hope for her that continues to happen. Like that class is able to happen.
And that's so much easier said than done. It's so hard when you're injured to give yourself a day off.
Or several.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's what it really is.
It really is. Yeah.
So Denis Morton has re-recorded a purged class.
Yeah. I love this story that he put up on his Instagram. It says, once upon a time, I did a 15-minute full body stretch. I had no idea how much people enjoyed it until it disappeared. He says, this is that same routine. Released OD at midnight, bookmark it. And so it was listed as a stretch before. This time around, it is a 15-minute yoga flow. So if there was a stretch that you loved from Denis and you have asked for it to come back, look for it. It was released on February 28th. And like Denis said, bookmark that. So you have it for at least 4 years before everything gets purged again.
Theoretically.
I mean, yeah. Can't promise anything.
It's funny, though, that when they re-record classes that get purged, you know what it reminds me of?
What?
When TV, of course, this is going to be a pop culture reference.
Oh, I knew that.
When TV shows switched from black and white to color, a lot of them would re-record episodes. They would basically remake some of the episodes that were better, that they thought were better received, so they'd have them in color, knowing that a lot of the black and white episodes would just be lost to time. Would just be kind of purged over time.
Yeah.
Right?
Well.
The people wouldn't, My Three Sons aired for 15 seasons or something, and the first 5 or 6 seasons are all black and white,
and they never get shown,
and you never saw them in reruns. They just completely 2 kids leave and they replace them and they flip to color, and then that was all you ever saw in syndication were the color ones. So that's what makes me think of.
It makes sense.
Mariana Fernandez is on the mend.
Yeah, she posted a really sweet post. It was very touching about being in her recovery area. She talked about she's had a really rough go of it. That she had 3 races that she couldn't start. She was not able to have any New Year's resolutions this year. She said that she had no sense of self. What she thought was a virus led to post effects, and she had to stop her SSRI, which for many is an antidepressant. And then she said to not knowing what was happening, to spiraling, 2 months, chronic nausea, 4 GIs, doctors later, going back on all my meds, all the FOMO, a supremely relentless support system. I mean, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah. And so it sounds like she is in the process of getting back to herself, and she's getting there.
Yeah.
But definitely send her all the love, because I think, she's a wonderful, really caring, thoughtful person. And I know it'll mean a lot to her to hear from people. But she really said that for her, it was another lesson in taking care of your mental health and how you talk to yourself, especially during an injury. To your point, it's a lot easier said than done.
For sure.
To take a step back. So
especially when your entire life, career is built around fitness. It's so much a part of your identity when you're somebody like this. Yeah.
It's you can't help but question, I'm sure, on some level, am I still relevant if I get hurt? Yes. The answer is yes, just to be clear. But I can only imagine that's the kind of thing that goes through your head.
For sure.
In these moments. So our love to Mariana.
Speaking of health stuff, Bradley Rose had a bit of a health scare.
He did. And the picture you're seeing, if you're watching, is coming from Bradley Rose's wife, Sophia. Bradley posted about this as well, but his didn't have captions, so that's why we used Sophia's. But just in a nutshell, they have been going through a really tough time. February was just awful, between buying our first home, yay, and moving, and then not having a place to live for 2 weeks because the house wasn't ready, and then navigating a cancer scare, not to mention her being 5 to 6 months pregnant and having to work on top of all of it. She's so grateful that this is the conclusion. Bradley was really worried that he had cancer, and came back. It's okay.
Well, that's good.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So he's all right. They're all right. But man, that's a lot to go through.
Absolutely.
A lot. So our love to them as well.
Peloton artist collaborations.
So the latest artist series features Kesha.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I love the Kesha. I mean, not Janelle from Teen Mom, love Kesha.
Janelle from Teen Mom, love the Kesha.
Love the Kesha.
She's willing to go to jail for it and lose her children.
It's Kesha.
You don't understand.
It's Kesha. Like, that was one of the best moments in reality TV. But this is going to be a really fun one. There's classes. They're going to be outdoor run with Kesha. It's going to be on demand coming up this week. There's also going to be a German ride with Mila. It's going to be 20 minutes. And then there's going to be a 30-minute glutes and legs strength with Callie, not to mention a power flow with Mariana, a ride with Cody, a walk plus run with Jess King, and a row with Katie. So all of that is happening this week. So by the time you hear this, it will all be out. It's very exciting.
And we also have an overview of all the artist series coming up in March. They've got some big names.
They do, yeah. So obviously, we just talked about Kesha. There's also going to be one for Sabrina Carpenter and Sheryl Crow and Lady Gaga. Now, remember, March is Women's History Month, so I love what they are doing here.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So there's a nice mix of genres, there's a nice mix of age ranges, and a nice mix of wonderful artists here. So excited about this one.
And whenever I hear the name Sabrina,
Yeah.
I automatically in my head go, Teenage Witch.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I will never not do that.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Peloton Celebrity Sightings.
So if you watch The View or the third hour of Good Morning America?
Sure.
Is that what it is?
I can't keep track.
I can't keep track either. Sara Haines is on there, and she posted a clip from her workout room, and you could see multiple pieces of Peloton equipment in there.
Yeah, I see the bike. I see Peloton weights in her hands with she is doing, and I also see the tread in the background. So
I feel like we're playing I Spy.
I know.
I Spy with my
I
little eye,
spy.
a Peloton tread.
Good for her. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So it's neat to see their workout spaces
It
too,
is.
just see how the other half lives.
I know. I'm like, ooh, is that LVP on her floor? The luxury vinyl plank.
In a workout room, no less.
I know.
New content.
We will now take a look at the TCO Top 5, where you tell us your favorite classes, and then we tell you were right.
Sure. Okay.
Number 1, your favorite strength class.
Okay, so this was taught by Callie Gullickson on February 26th, and it was a 20-minute glutes and legs class. And Sarah Lester nominated this class, saying, "Do not let the beginner classification deter you. This is a great class for all. It's simple but effective, and it could have been used in a hypertrophy class stack. Just increase the weight you are lifting. This will be on repeat for me."
Congratulations, Sarah Lester. You were right. Everyone else was wrong.
Tom has bestowed
I
the
have
rightness upon you.
Bestowed it upon thou. Number 2, your favorite ride.
All right. So this class was taught by Robin Arzon, which we haven't had hit the top 5 in a while. And this class was taught back on September 12th of 24. It was a 45-minute intervals in arms. Yes, she's wearing yellow.
Uh-oh.
I know somebody will ask.
Even I know that.
Yeah.
It's bad news.
And listen, it was a contender for the unstackable. It ultimately didn't win out.
Right.
Okay. But Courtney Marissa, she said, "I should have known I was in trouble when I saw those sparkly yellow shoes. This ride, this ride was disgusting in all the best ways." There was a 5-minute and 45-second warm-up that foreshadowed the long interval sections for the rest of the ride, power intervals with resistance at 65 or higher, speed intervals, and a max effort block at the end with high resistance springs when I was already pretty gassed. This ride kept me breathless nearly the whole time, but Robin coached it really well.
Congratulations, Courtney. You were wrong about the unstackable, but you were right about the favorite ride. So congratulations to you. Up next, your favorite row.
Okay, so Katie Wong taught this class, and it was on March 1st. Melissa Solon recommended this class, and she said, oh, by the way, it was a 20-minute 80s row.
Okay.
Forgot to say that part. So Melissa said it had a fantastic playlist and a mix of easy, moderate, and challenging intervals, great coaching, and motivation. Plus, the playlist had all your favorite 80s songs, so
Yeah.
really, you can't go wrong there.
You can't. Congrats, Melissa. Now I feel like if I don't,
Right.
they're going to feel left out.
That's true.
So congrats. You were correct. Number 5 or 4.
It's 4, Tom.
I'm not good at the counting. Number 4, your favorite strength class.
Okay, so this was taught by Rebecca Kennedy.
Okay.
On February 21st, our anniversary. And it was a 20-minute arms and shoulders strength. And BC loved this class. She said, Rebecca hits it out of the park again. I hadn't done a strength class in a week and a half, and this was the perfect class to get back into it. Playlist was perfection. I think millennials in particular will love it. It was all about shoulders, triceps, and biceps.
Well, congratulations, BC. You were correct. Although I think you have to change your name to BCE. That's what we say these days now. Because of woke.
Oh, well, yeah, it's true.
And finally, number 5, your favorite unstackable run. Who got it right?
Oliver.
Way to go, Oliver.
Oliver said, okay, so this was taught by Bex Gentry on March 1st of this year. And Oliver said this class had 5 intervals with challenging, hard, and very hard pacing with disgusting. That's the second time we've heard the word today.
We're disgusted a lot this week.
Disgusting inclines thrown in. This was a great class for anyone with spring races in mind and definitely one to push yourself and get some miles on your legs. An eclectic mix of music combined with Beck's experience as a runner made this a great class, but definitely not one to do as a stack. That is so true. That's a great. I love that one. Plus, Bex in the picture has like a don't fuck with me look. Like it is she's serious. So it was destined to be.
We'll now take a look at this week at Peloton.
Well, this week is all about the outdoor runs. And Sunday, March 9th, there's going to be a live outdoor run with Susie. It's going to be 30 minutes long, and it's going to be on March 9th, though. This is like, I think only the 4th or 5th outdoor live run that Peloton has had. So, and I think it's Susie's first. So that's really fun. Yeah. And we have a few tips for that.
So all those ultra marathons have been indoors?
Yeah.
Is that how those work?
That she taught on the platform, Tom.
Oh, I see.
I didn't know I had to say that.
Oh, well, it is me you're talking to.
So true. Also, we have brand new dance cardio classes this week dropping. So let's see. There's going to be Emma, Hannah, Corbin, and Jess King all have classes dropping this week as well.
We have post-meal walks, which we all know are really...
Fart walks.
Yeah,
John, Camilla, and Susie are dropping some. They're going to be 10 minutes. So, and I love that Elizabeth wrote this in here because I think it was Helper Be Elizabeth that wrote this. And as the clip out says, nothing beats a good fart walk.
Exactly. And we also have benchmark strength classes.
Yeah, there are 5 new ones this week, and it's going to be Rebecca, Maddie, Jermaine, Robin, and Andy all doing classes in the benchmark strength collection. So that's awesome. You know what? I said Elizabeth, but I think it was Kimberly. Kimberly wrote this one this week. So the holla. I'm so sorry.
We have a new music-themed class series, Rising Pop.
Yeah, so you might remember that they have Rising Country.
Yes.
And they started doing that series, and they started having a lot of the country stars coming in and doing around award season and things like that. Well, now we have Rising Pop. And so it is going to be all the up and coming pop artists. And there are several classes out there on demand already because Peloton posted this after they had already done the classes. I don't know what is happening.
Maybe it should be called Risen Pop.
I don't know. Hey, Peloton, it might be time to bring in a social media person, maybe from high school. Maybe you can get
Sing.
I'm just saying, I know that they're trying to cut costs. And so like an intern, maybe they should bring in an intern for the summer, and maybe they should focus on just the social media. The weekends have been brutal lately. I don't know what is going on. Somebody is not doing this right. But anyway, so there's a bunch of these. There's also going to be a couple of lane break classes that are going to be popping up this week as well. So I will probably be taking those because I really enjoy the lane break classes.
Peloton is celebrating Women's History Month.
They are. And there are a bunch of different classes. Like we talked about earlier, there's going to be several of these new artists coming up this month. But in addition to that, we are also going to see Rebecca's Queens of Pop Strength, where we're hoping will still happen later. And then Alex K. Women Who Mix Row. And then on March 5th, there's going to be an encore of Jess Sims Hip Hop Heroines. How do you say that? Heroines. Okay. And then Mayla's Vocal Legends Walk on March 7th. And then Beck's Queens of Pop Row. That's going to be taking place live on March 8th. Cliff's Hip Hop Heroines ride in German, and I think that's it. And then of course there is the collection that we've had over 5 years of those, so lots of fun classes coming out.
So Peloton was also commemorating International Women's Day.
Yes, they were. And so we have Saturday is International Women's Day. Okay. And then they talked about how, because being a woman is a sport, show us what yours looks like. So whether that's a woman, endurance, your passion. So it's running miles, running the day, whatever, show us your game. And then they said, reply to the story with photos and videos of you in sport. Send the story to your team of strong women so they can join in, and turn on notifications to celebrate women owning their power all month long, which is awesome.
Right.
However, to my point earlier,
right,
they forgot to turn the feature on where you can actually reply. So, whoops. Yeah. So just saying.
Yeah. As someone who controls the social media account for a concert venue and does the email news, God, I hate it. I've done stuff like that.
Well, you know
maddening.
What stinks about that is what I bet happened. In defense of Peloton, even though I'm making fun of them, in defense, it's probably scheduled ahead of time. And a lot of these features don't work properly when you're scheduling ahead of time.
Yeah.
So like if they're using a third party to go in and schedule it, then you're not able to mess with the details on things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was it, but it makes me wonder if that was it.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And now our in memoriam segment. If you've got a 40, pour one out. R.I.P. hit rides over 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think this actually might have been in place for a while, but officially, Ali said the other day during her 30-minute Tabata class that they are no longer teaching any type of hit rides over 30 minutes. 30 minutes is the max. So they might have a 45-minute hit and hills, but you're not going to see a 45-minute hit ride. Okay. So I felt like I needed to specify that so somebody doesn't come back to me and tell me I'm wrong. Well, it's different. But yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. I get that a lot. But I will say most people are super nice about how they say things. So I get that it's a question. I really do. And in this particular case, I think they may have just quietly done this. Like just real quiet.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a minor tweak. Why make a big deal out of it? You're just going to get people yelling at you for no reason.
And honestly, if it's really hit that you're doing properly, 30 minutes is plenty.
Yeah.
You don't need a 45-minute ride. Or run. Like maybe there is a 45-minute run still. I don't know. That's just what she said.
In case you missed it.
So more items have been added to the spring apparel line.
Yeah, they dropped another round of it. A beautiful yellow color came out this time. And I hear from the women, lots of one shoulder. We don't like it. Get it out of here. I mean, obviously some people do or they wouldn't keep doing it. But lots of pretty colors. They had this weird tie-dye thing I'm not sure how I feel about. But one curious thing is the prison scrubs. Not understanding what's happening here. Now it's Dream Blend, and I do love the Dream Blend.
Yeah.
I love the Dream Blend, but these look like prison scrubs.
Yeah.
And especially in the oatmeal color, like I don't know what somebody was thinking. Like no, this is not. No.
Orange is the new Peloton.
Apparently that's what's happening. Also, reportedly, now you need to hit $100 to have free shipping.
Oh, how much did it used to be?
Well, it started at 50.
Okay.
And then I know it went up to 75.
Yeah.
The person that brought this to my attention said that this happened this week, that it was the first time they had seen it at 100. Now, other people told me they thought that it had already been 100 for a while. So I'm not confident either way because I haven't been buying any apparel.
Yeah, you would have no way of knowing because when's the last time you've spent less than $100?
Oh, I never spend less than 100.
You would. I mean, you are safe as a kitten from shipping charges. I'll tell you that.
Please. You just look. It's a bra. It's $100. So I mean, come on.
I'm just been ordering one boob at a time.
Yeah. That's how I get half off. But I'm just joking.
I'll get your bra half off.
okay. But
It's
yeah,
okay, we're married.
I know. There's not everybody wants to hear about it. That's all. But at any rate, I don't know if it's been $100 or it was $75. $75 is what it was the last time I ordered. So I'm not clear if this is new or not. But some people are saying it's new, so throwing it out there. But it is pretty hard to order under $100.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to be safe to get your free shipping.
And coming up after this, we have our interview of the week. We're going to talk to Troy Taylor from Tonal. He's going to tell us all about Tonal 2 and all the new things they're doing. And we tried it out. It was pretty spiffy.
It's real spiffy.
So you'll hear all about that coming up next.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube from Tonal, it is their he just told me and I'm already forgetting, their vice president of product innovation.
It was close.
Close. Performance innovation.
There you go.
Performance innovation. Crystal will fix all this in editing, I have no doubt.
No, I'm going to leave it.
I know. It's Troy Taylor. Hey, Troy, how's it going?
I am doing very well. Thanks for having me on.
I want to be vice president of coming up with those really vague but important sounding job titles.
Hey, it's got VP in the title.
Yeah.
He's a very important man.
I'm not sure about that, but as I alluded before we came on recording, you can ask me what my title is. The description of what I do might be a little more complex. But we'll be good.
That's fair. Okay, so exciting. Tonal just released the Tonal 2, and we got a chance to try it, but we want to hear from you exactly what all these changes mean. We were super, super stoked to be able to try the Tonal 2.
It's pretty spiffy.
It is really spiffy. It's beautiful. But you tell us, what are you most excited about with the Tonal 2? Let's start there.
Oh, I'm personally most excited actually about aero mode that you got to try at the Tonal Training Lab, which is really a take on a combination between cardio and strength training. It feels not dissimilar to a rower. It's got that kind of variable resistance. The harder you pull, the harder it resists. And you can change that like a gears on a bike. But it really brings this kind of cardio element to Tonal, which we haven't had on Tonal before. And you can do all these different movement patterns, right? You can do this like more like a ski erg type pattern. You can do like this med ball slam that we call the aero pull. You can lunge, you can twist, you can chop. You can do all these kind of strength-based movements, but while working heart, lungs, cardiovascular system. And for someone that doesn't do as much cardio as they probably should, it's been a real game changer for me for getting in, 5, 10, 15 minutes of high intensity cardio where before I wasn't really doing it. But there's a lot of other things, but that's probably my number one.
Okay.
So should we explain to people how it works so they can envision what we're talking about?
Are you gonna explain it?
Oh, dear God.
I was hoping Tom might.
I know, right? I kind of wanted to hear where he was going to go.
So you got the arms.
Yeah.
You put the arms all the way up, which you've never done before.
That's right.
You raising the roof with your Tonal. The arms all the way in the air like you just don't care. But you do care. And then you push them together. Uh-huh. And then your rope device has a
T-lock.
A double-headed T-lock. I'm really trying to be good here.
I can tell. I was trying to help. Don't embarrass Troy. He'll never come back.
I'm sure why I signed up to on this podcast. But,
And then, and so the rope attaches to both of the arms.
Yes.
And then you pull down.
Yes. Yeah. He did pretty good. Yeah. Is there?
No, exactly. Yeah. You put it in the highest position. So it's got a lot of this pulling element. So it's getting sort of like lats, there's a little chest activation, but you're also squatting and hinging. So it's kind of this kind of full kind of body movement.
But you don't assign a weight to it.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating.
And that's the part that's more similar to a rower, right? Because of
totally. In rowing, they call it the catch, which is where you're kind of compressed and you're kind of pushing in there. And it's kind of heavy, right? It's kind of, you're pushing against the force of water or of a flywheel or something like that. And so it's got that kind of feeling, and then it's lighter on the end. And so it's this kind of rhythmic, fluid motion. But you can do all these different movement patterns on.
That one that mimics the ball slam, my God, my core was just lit up the next day. I was like, that was amazing. I want to do it again.
Yeah. There's nothing quite like it. If you've ever done like med ball slams, lifting up high and slamming it between your legs, you're doing that on repeat for 30, 60, as long as you can keep going to do it. And the core activation is something pretty special.
It really is. Tom was like, sure, special.
This is awful, which I guess is their goal.
That is their goal.
Not for it to be awful, but for people like me to hate it.
It's to be effective, but you're not. It's like all exercise for you, Tom. You're not necessarily enjoying it while you're doing it, but you do enjoy the results.
I enjoy that you enjoy the results.
Okay, well, there you go. Okay, so that's your favorite. So what do you feel like people are going to be most surprised at?
I think most surprised is probably how heavy 250 pounds feels. The old tonal went to 200 pounds, and because of the way that electromagnetic motors work and the lack of inertia, it feels heavier than the free weight equivalent. So it feels like we did a research study. It feels like it's about 250 pounds, the normal tonal 1, and tonal 2 at 250 pounds feels more like 300, 315 pounds. It's heavy. As someone that had to record some social videos deadlifting 250 pounds, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. I was like, I get like, I could do a set of 10, and I got like 3 reps out, and I'm like, oh, this facial expression is literally the one I have to make. And so, yeah, it's legit a lot of weight. And then, not everyone needs that, but there are, a certain population. I think Tom is maxing out sumo squats.
Mini sumo
as I remember, mini sumo squats.
Yeah.
And so it really provides that extra kind of resistance, which I think is, it's definitely surprising when you get it at the touch of a button too.
Yeah.
For those that have never felt tonal, it's like, oh, there's no way. And then you hit this button, and then it's like, oh, the dial keeps going up and up and up, and you're like, okay, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And we should say, for people who have never used a tonal, when you hit the button, especially at the higher weights, it doesn't instantly go to that weight. It's not an on-off button. There is...
It's an on-off button, but it eases into it.
Yeah, like the weight slowly ramps up, so it doesn't send you flying as it goes from 0 to 125 pounds. Like,
No. And it also is like, are you sure you want to go to this weight whenever you first turn it on? But that's why you do the calibration at the beginning, so it can kind of figure out what's best for you. So you're not, just pinging it all the way to the highest level.
As the person that's done some of that R&D testing on how fast or slow that ramp up should be, 0 to 250 in 0.0 seconds is a little jarring. So it takes about 1 to 2 seconds, and it kind of ramps up. And I feel we've got the sweet spot of like, okay, I can feel it long enough, but it's not so long it takes too long.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is tricky because I remember when I first started using tonal, I would try to get a rep in before it like all the way clicked in.
Really loaded.
Yeah. It's like, I could do 10, no problem.
You're only cheating yourself.
I know, Tom. I know.
I'll never play miniature golf with her.
That's back before you even use tonal. You don't even get to weigh in on that.
I get it. Weigh in.
Yeah, that is on purpose. Yeah.
So I was surprised at how smooth it is, which is an odd thing to say because it's not as if I felt like the tonal that we currently have isn't smooth.
Exactly.
But this one was just like butter.
It's next level.
Yeah.
It's next level. It's Tom compared it to like driving in a nice car and then taking it up to like that luxury level because it's like, I don't even understand what you guys did, but it's amazing. That was most surprising to me because I thought it was going to be like the same machine, just a little heavier. But no, you guys had it all kinds of things.
Yeah, that's been consistent feedback at the training lab of like, oh, it's so smooth. He's like, but how do you explain that? Because my last tonal feels really smooth too. If you use tonal, the first like inch or two, you're kind of getting the motor moving as well as you're going. And so that's, I think, what we've managed. And I say we, it's the firmware engineers, the super smart mathematicians, Alberto and Colin that are back then, that coding. That essentially with the upgraded motor control board that's in the new Tonal 2, they essentially, I think it's over 10,000 times a second, can respond the motor so it feels literally so smooth.
Wow.
Ton of math wizardry and coding to make it happen. But the result is it just feels smoother throughout. And particularly at that low rate repetition, low weights at like 5 pounds, you're doing internal or external rotation or lateral raises or front raises or reverse flies where, it's not uncommon to do 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds is the weight that people are lifting. On those, it feels lighter. So we've managed to get it heavier on the top end, but almost feel lighter on the low end, which is, really appreciated by our members so far.
Yeah, definitely. I was just using Tonal this morning, Tonal 1, obviously. And I was doing the one where, like what is it? The reverse fly.
Flies.
Yes, reverse fly. That was me doing a reverse fly. And that is...
I got it. I saw the motion.
Thank you. And it's a great example of, because I have to do it on such a light weight, it's also like you use momentum on those light weights in a different way than you do when you're doing like bicep curls or bench presses on the Tonal. And so I have to kind of push myself to not let myself use the momentum. And that's hard because I want to just be done. Reverse flies are not my favorite, even though I
don't think they're many people's favorites. They're a really good exercise for your rear delts. But yes, they take a lot of strict form, and I will make my muscles contract rather than swing my back or move something else. Yeah, it definitely takes some discipline to make them effective.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so back to Tonal 2. So the Tonal Training Lab, what has been the response of people coming in? Are they like, I know we were super stoked. Is everybody super stoked when they get there?
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible to see the response. So just to give a little context, so Tonal, in your home, like that's where we've existed. We have some retail showrooms, but really with the Tonal Training Lab, we put 10 Tonals in a room, invited members and non-members to come and work out with our on-camera coaches, and so we opened mid-January for the very first classes. You guys were in probably a week after that. So yeah, it's been universally across the board that people are just been so stoked they love working out in their own home and the convenience of doing that, but coming together, lift heavy in a group fitness class, you're squatting or deadlifting some heavy weight. You're also doing this cardio. You're also doing some resisted core exercise. It's been pretty special. The camaraderie and kind of the group kind of mentality. The number of PRs that have been hit because people are pushing harder is insane. And it's been awesome to see the relationship with coaches, right? Because you can probably see this in the Peloton studio, but people have spent hundreds of hours with these people but never met them.
Yep.
And now you get to thing and you're like, I kind of know this person, but I've never met them. And it's this kind of like long lost mentor kind of thing as an introduction. So it's been really special.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really neat watching everybody come in and greet the coaches and greet each other. And also it struck me as so interesting because we have a leaderboard at home. When you're doing like a live class on Tonal, you still have a leaderboard. You can see other people working out and how many pounds are being lifted. It is somehow different to see the pounds go up when everybody is standing around you. Like it's more impactful to be like, holy crap, we just lifted how much? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, one of the classes, 8 people in the class hit over 100,000 pounds in a 45-minute session. It's insane. Some big lifting.
Yeah.
Lots of PRs in that session. But just to see the collective work and things is pretty special. Someone also hit their, I think, 12 million pound mark during the class. So they got the pop-up of 12 million pounds being lifted. It's pretty cool to share those moments in the flesh.
It is.
Yeah, in the class we took, somebody hit 6 million.
Yes.
And then I was like, I didn't even think about that because I'm actually closing in on 10 million.
Yeah.
If I had thought about it, I could have tried to do a few more and tried to hit it.
Right in the class.
Yeah. But
gosh, Tom.
Taking it easy. You should have worked harder before you came, Tom.
I know. I didn't do the math. Well, because it's like I'm sure all the Peloton people listening are like, but Tom, come on, but I've never.
We talk about it all the time.
I've never had to worry about it.
He's never hit a PR in public. He's never taken a class in
never
public, right?
Milestones.
So this is like a whole new way of thinking. I mean, at home, if I'm working out and he's working out on the Tonal, every time he hits a PR, I'm like, you hit a PR. And he's like, okay. I I'm like, where's my celebration? He doesn't ever.
Tom is just deeply intrinsically motivated. He doesn't need the external reward, the badges, the streaks. He's just got that desire to work just because it's deep within him.
That's right.
So deep he can't find it sometimes, but it's there.
That doesn't track at all.
He's trying to help you.
But I like, so with weightlifting though, I always feel like with the PRs, it's like, but tonal, like if you lift 20 pounds long enough, at some point it's going to go 21 and now you got a PR.
That's the thing. If you were just going, that is the beauty of tonal.
Yeah.
Yes. But if you were doing it at the gym, you may never go past 20 pounds. That's the beauty of tonal.
If you consistently lift, it will progressively overload you. Yep.
Yeah.
You'll hit a new PR.
So speaking of overloads, see that?
I like that.
The professionalism
That's
here.
good. Yeah.
Let's talk about drop sets.
Okay, let's talk about drop sets. Yeah. So Tonal just released drop sets. They are on 2, but they're also being released to Tonal 1. So tell us about drop sets because we have lots of questions.
Yeah, sure. Drop sets, time-tested training technique that most people have probably done in the gym, most commonly done with dumbbells and what's affectionately called running the rack, right? You start on one side of the rack at a heavier side. Maybe you're doing bicep curls. Start with, let's say, the 30s and you kind of rep them out. You get relatively tired. You drop to the 25s. You put the 30s down, put the 25s up. Go through for as long or as far as you want. It's actually a ton of research around it that it's a really time-efficient way of training. It gets you basically close to failure. Those are the reps that contribute the most to muscle growth and hypertrophy. And then it keeps you relatively close to failure for the entire set. So if you only have time for one set, it's actually quite a reasonable way of training with a lot of research evidence behind it. We wanted to take that concept, but bring it into the 21st century, kind of automate it, make it even more time efficient and potentially effective. So essentially what we've done is we instigate this system where we give you your 8 rep weight, starting weight, and we do a calibration set before it to make sure the weight's dialed in particularly. So tonal will increase or decrease your weight depending on how strong you are on that given day. And then it starts with your 8 rep weight. When we sense, because we measure velocity and range of motion and all this data on you every single time you lift, when we get sense that you're close to about 2 reps from failure, we reduce the weight just a little bit. So you don't reach failure, but you just these 2 reps from failure. And that's because the research evidence suggests that's kind of the sweet spot between stimulus and fatigue. It's where you stimulate a lot of hypertrophy, but the fatigue is not as much as it is with failure. And then we keep you there for kind of as long as you kind of can sustain it. It might be 6 reps, 8 reps, 10 reps. Every time you get back to that point, which is every 1 to 3 reps, we reduce it a little more and we reduce it a little more. And so you ride this wave of failure or 2 reps from failure for, on average, about 20 reps.
Wow.
Until eventually we say, okay, well, we're not going to drop the weight anymore than before, and then you can push through. And so, yeah, it's a really fun training technique if you're into that. It gets an incredible pump and you get a lot of volume in a very short period of time. But we have some preliminary research that says we get similar amounts of muscle growth in about 38% of the time of traditional sets of training with drop sets.
Wow.
So not exactly the same level of things, but almost basically a third of the time, and you get very similar outcomes in things. So super time efficient. If you're busy, you don't have time to go in and do a 60-minute training session and do 6-8 sets per muscle group. You can go in, do this calibration set, do a drop set, and be sure that you've hit your sort of muscle building, stimulus for the day.
Wow.
That's fascinating. I saw a guy in one of the tonal groups saying that he has a custom workout that he does over and over again. And so like he has a lot of like data points of like, this is what I normally do on this workout. This is what, and he said he did one workout that he normally does. He's like, he struggles to get to 33,000 total pounds in the workout, and that he did the drop set version of his custom workout and he hit, I think he said 42 or 44,000 pounds.
I mean, that's incredible. Yeah. Wow.
So what is the machine gauging, like how strong you're pushing, like your
like
power
if you had
as
a
you
lot
push?
Is it the power, or is it like not like let's say bicep curl, right? You maybe I'm not going all the way up to my shoulder anymore, but I'm still doing it fast. Would that count, or would it be like taking both of those into consideration?
Yeah, it's looking at range of motion and velocity. I would
Okay.
say the primary variable that it's looking at, as long as your range of motion is not shortening a terrible amount, is velocity is what's the signal for the most part. And so the speed that you're lifting. So there's a concept from my previous background in elite sport around velocity-based training, where you measure the velocity of every rep and you can work on strength at certain velocities and speed at others and power. And you can kind of use that concept as we are in drop sets to really determine your proximity to failure, so how close to failure you are. In order to be able to do that, you need to be lifting concentrically as fast as possible, because that gives you the clearest signal. So on a lot of the drop set stuff, we'll say, okay, it's a nice controlled 2-second eccentric, really fast as you can, concentric. It's an 8-rep weight. It's the intent to move fast, not actually moving fast, that matters, right? As the weight is relatively heavy and you're close to failure, both of those mean you slow down, but it's the intent to move quickly. And that gives us the very clear signal of, oh, that's close to failure, and we'll reduce the weight accordingly. So as long as the range of motion is decent and you're basically completing about 80%, a minimum of 80% of the range of motion, it's the velocity signal and the velocity drop. Because we looked at we've got 10 billion reps. I think it's close to 10 billion reps.
What?
Some insane number of reps that have been measured across all these different movements. And we get to understand what's the velocity associated with 1 rep from spotter kicking in, 2 reps from spotter kicking in, 3 reps. So we can then back calculate the algorithms to say that this is 2 reps from failure. So using that big data set, some machine learning algorithms, and you can back out where that failure speed should be.
Wow.
It's nice to see an algorithm finally being used for something positive.
Yeah. And in 2025, it's we gotta take those wins where we can get them, and
Yes.
we like hearing the positivity of that.
Yeah.
So one question I keep hearing a lot is, okay, we have a Tonal 1, Tonal 2 came out. So is my Tonal 1 obsolete now? Is it just like a hunk of junk hanging on my wall?
Am I a loser for having a Tonal 1, Troy?
Tonal 1, by the way. Tonal 1. I actually have a Tonal 2 in the gym, so I kind of things. But worked out on it today, incredible still. The amazing piece of advice that you loved on January 6th or 7th, whenever before I think, still the amazing piece of device. We obviously, as a product, you want to innovate, you want to bring new technology, you try to, by bringing drop sets to Tonal 1, we want to acknowledge that, hey, if this is an incredible piece of kit. If you don't upgrade, no problem. We're going to continue to service you. We're going to continue to release features. It's not that everything is now going to be Tonal 2 focused kind of things. But also, we released this product 6, 7, 8 years ago. We want to be able to innovate on Tonal 1 and bring new things like Aero or this heavier weight or the front-facing camera in Smart View to bring something fresh and new into the market. Some people will think that that's worthwhile and an upgrade and something that they want to do. Many people will not. And we are 100%, totally fine either way. We will continue to release all of our content or the vast 99% of our content will all be eligible for Tonal 1. Drop sets is available on Tonal 1, and we'll continue to produce features for both Tonal 1 and Tonal 2 moving forward. Some things might be exclusively Tonal 2, but certainly the intention is not to make everything Tonal 2 focused.
Okay.
So if a class or a program includes the Aero movement, you have a Tonal 1, will it just not show up as an option for you? Will it show up and be ghosted out? Will it swap out a different move for you in that program? How does that function?
If I was the VP of product innovation, I would answer that perfectly.
Can you get that guy? He sounds like he's who we need to be talking to.
So number one, we're at launch, we're launching workouts, not programs on Aero. So the Aero workouts only show up on Tonal 2. If you have a Tonal 1, you don't see them.
Gotcha.
And so they're exclusively for Tonal 2. As we build programs for Tonal 2 and with Aero, we'll work through a combination of things of whether it's only available and you don't see it, or we have a body weight or an equivalent move on tonal 1 and 2 and things. We're actually working through some of those sort of logistics and operational kind of pieces right now, but those are the questions that our product team is kind of working through of which is the best way. We want to maximize, right, stage time and the opportunity for the coaches, and we want to have our biggest hits taken by the largest portion of our membership.
Sure.
So we're not going to do anything that alienates or exclusively puts people, they don't have access, therefore we're not going to do it. And so we'll look through ways of what's the most seamless way of doing this that makes the most sense. It doesn't make sense to me that you see this workout that you can't do,
right?
Grayed out kind of thing. So we're probably not going to do that, but we'll either a substitution or we'll ring fence certain tonal 2 content so you don't see it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. And you mentioned the front-facing camera that adds in the corrections, and I really liked that. Now, I would have liked to have been able to see more in the tonal training lab. The day we were in there, the lighting was kind of dark, so we couldn't.
Oh, we went super dark. Yeah. It probably didn't do the best experience for highlighting that feature. There's a certain mood you want in a group fitness class.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It doesn't really go with video capture.
That is fair. But I was excited about it because, especially with squats, my left knee, I always have issues with it, and I actually have to take like a band and put it around my knees so my knees do the appropriate movement. And I would be so curious to see it, right in front of me and what tonal is picking up. Like I really am excited about that feature. And I know it's not like a huge thing, but I loved that you had the selfies at the end. I love that so much. It's so fun.
I'll be honest, it didn't make my top 5 things of what I thought was going to be. It's really fun in a group fitness to take a selfie. I've taken a couple at home too. No one's seeing them, but I got a pump. Let's show it. No one review this image. Yeah, but from form correction, it's really valuable to be able to see, I have a tendency when I'm doing lat pull downs, like my shoulders come up, I can't keep kind of things. So it's been really helpful in giving me the right cues to do that in real time, popping up. I can both see myself and I get the sort of the visual text coaching cue. My balance on my left knee particularly, I've had ACL reconstruction 3 times, so my proprioception and balance isn't that great. So I keep getting this, hey, maintain your posture, and it's a really useful cue for me to keep up. And what we're seeing quite a lot is people are going back and reviewing, because it automatically records all of those and uploads to the app immediately. So you have all of those, every single rep that you've done on tonal recorded instantaneously in the app, and so you go back and check. Maybe I don't want to look at it, in the moment. I'm, just focused on working hard. But back, when I get home or when I'm, after I've showered, I can look at and see my form and kind of review myself and give myself some cues and kind of thing. So yeah, definitely fun feature. Definitely doesn't help to make it pitch black in the tonal training lab. Don't tell anyone.
I won't.
Yeah, my selfie, I look like Bigfoot, like a very short Bigfoot.
I never got my selfie. It didn't upload to my profile. I was so sad. I never got mine.
You needed push notifications on your app switched on.
Oh, well, that's even sadder.
Yeah, you just outed yourself. Can you believe that she doesn't have her push notifications turned on, Troy? Are you going to stand for this sort of thing?
God, I thought I did.
I got mine sent to me. I was fine. I guess I used the tonal app properly.
Oh my God.
Exactly. You've been diligently
that's
reading all the manuals.
I do the things.
Wow. Wow. I was not expecting this, you two. Well, I'll be playing around with this on my phone, figuring it out.
So is there anything else that you would like to say about the Tonal 2 or the future of Tonal before we wrap things up?
I think we've covered it. We covered 250, we covered Aero, we covered the Smart View camera, we covered drop sets. There's a whole bunch of internal updates that, make things faster, smoother, better Wi-Fi, better Bluetooth, better motor controls, stronger rope, stronger plunger, the pin piece that operates the cart, just basically upgrades to the entire system. I think those are there. And then Tonal Training Lab that you guys trained out is open until the end of Feb. So if anyone's in and around the New York area in Soho, until February 28th, come and check us out and get a workout with our coaches in person.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
highly recommend.
Absolutely. And if people want to find you on the interwebs or Tonal, where should they go?
So tonal.com, you can find all the information about Tonal there. I'm on Instagram under Strength Science Troy. I post quite a lot of tonal content on there. And then on LinkedIn, just search for my name.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much.
The Clip Out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on the Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can also find me on Threads and Blue Sky and Instagram. And of course, the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Blue Sky and Threads at Tom O'Keefe Jr. or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. And of course, don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/The Clip Out. $5 a month. You get all sorts of bonus content. You get early episodes if we get early episodes, and you get ad-free ones, and we like you just a little bit more. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep pedaling
And running.
and rowing.
Bye.
Clip in, set yourself free.